Ah, how do? First time, long time. Anyway, first up, apologies for the squeaky chair. It's a special chair. It's called a kneeling chair. It keeps your back straight. Gives you a bit of a clue that I've got a bit of back trouble. I've had it for quite some while, but I'll go into that later on. Anyway, I'm here. I was spurred on by an email that came through from, I think, YouTube. And they said, you haven't put any content up for ages, so if you don't, we will demonetize your channel. Now, they do say, oh, creators, if you want to take some time out, just you take some time out. No problem. Not really true. After a while, they threaten you and they say you'll get your channel demonetized unless you put some content up. You put it up within 30 days. Not that I make hardly anything out of the channel at all, but it is something of a sort of principle of thing that if you put a fair bit of effort in, you've built up a channel, and you do expect some recompense from a huge organization like YouTube stroke Google. But should I get demonetized? As a matter of principle, I will take the channel down, just as many other content creators have. So if I disappear, that's why. Anyway, it's given me a good opportunity for a catch up. So yeah, if you remember back my last video, I was asking about campsites and things. I think I was actually in the car when I made it. And since then, I've been out loads of times in the car and also in a couple of camping pods down on the south coast, on the Jurassic coast. And yeah, all through the winter, the lot. I've done a hell of a lot of walking. And I've managed to go down from 16 stone down to 14 stone. I think I'm about 14 stone 2 now. So best part of 2 stone, cut the pound shy of 2 stone I've lost, all through walking. Now, I went out last week, I did 3 nights away, 2 days of walking, probably did about 21 miles, something like that. So I'm covering some fair bit of distance. I'm pretty fit, so I've been out all over the winter in all sorts of weathers. Sometimes it's been as low as -5. Been through all those named storms that you've seen, all hunkered down in the car and getting out on the hills or out on the south coast. So yeah. However, I was hoping to do a fair bit of radio type stuff, but there's 2 reasons I couldn't. One, back last September, I did something to the back, right between the shoulder blades, and it's all right, but as soon as I carry any sort of pack weight, it's agony. So I can't carry the kit, even anything more than a little recce bag. It's all I carry now. Any more than that, even a little tactical bag I tried, it's agony. And after that, I've got sciatica as well. Back last March, I think it was, I managed to walk that off on the south coast. So yeah, that's why I haven't been carrying sort of CB stuff, the battery and mobile radio, antenna and all that type of thing. In addition, where I go in mid Wales, it's about 1,500 feet up, but it's absolutely terrible for radio. Awful. Nothing seems to get out. I've been up there with the CB. I've been up there with 446, and also I've been dabbling with a bit of that mesh-tastic stuff. And I see nothing. I hear pretty much nothing from up there. Reason is Brecon beacons. You're talking 2,000, 2,500, almost up 3,000 feet. You've got Malverns, you've got Clees, you've got everything all around it. So for radio, it's hopeless. But for walking and scenery, it's fantastic. So that's why I've not really been doing much with the radio. Tried a few times, but dead loss, wasn't even worth putting up the video. So yeah, went down to the Jurassic coast, to the highest point on the south coast. I did take the mesh-tastic with me up there. Limited success. I did manage to, when I came back, I looked on the node list and I had made it into the same mesh that I can see on this tablet here. But I didn't manage to get any messages out to anyone. So yeah, there we are. I've got a little dedicated screen there for mesh-tastic. Now, I'm not here tapping away sending messages. I ought to really. But I have exchanged a few SMS type or mesh-tastic type messages with a fellow called Richie there over in the South Wales area. So thanks for that, Richie. Hope you get to see this. So yeah, I've left it running really. I put it up there in the first place because I wanted to get some off-grid messaging back here when I'm up in the hills. That's the main reason. But I found it's doing a fairly decent job as one of the paths on the mesh. So I've left it up there, but it's just left there. I don't really do much with it. Just doing its job, doing its thing, and it seems to be helping out with the mesh. So what's not to like? All the telemetry's all turned down to next to nothing. So it's doing a service rather than a disservice. Now, talking of Meshtastic, I know there's a hell of a lot of enthusiasm out there for it. I think that's ongoing. I think it's all right. Good bit of fun. It's nice to see the spread of stations or nodes, I think they call it. There's a couple now appeared down in Sturminster Newton Way, down Blandford Way, over to the other side of Swansea. There was a big node up in Gloucestershire. I think that's running at the moment. That was linking in to Worcestershire, and you could get up towards Birmingham. I think that node is down at the moment, or it's not repeating, whatever. So it's pretty good. But as far as emergency comms, SHTF, I would say limited possibilities there, because it does tend to get saturated very quickly. It's all coming out on one channel, basically. I know they say it's different channels like long, fast, and you can create your own channels, but they're really just sort of chat rooms. What it really is, it's all going out on one frequency, as far as I'm aware. So it's easy for it to get clogged up. You only got sort of liken that to, say, an amateur radio repeater or channel 19, where if somebody's shouting out all the time, 1-9 Roger, 1-9 Roger, not into a phone, obviously, but a microphone, that's better. Out of practice, 1-9 Roger, 1-9 Roger, 1-9 Roger. Now, if they just turn that down so it's 1-9 Roger, wait an hour, 1-9 Roger, then it brings the traffic down on the channel. And if somebody else is saying, anybody about, that type of thing, it fills it up with crap. So, and you've got the internet gateway stuff with MQTT, and you've got environmental reporting going back as well over telemetry, over the frequency. It does tend to saturate sometimes, but it seems to be running all right at the moment. But I say I'll do more with that when I get over to those mountains where I've actually got a chance to get some messages back. So it's there for public service, my node, rather than me chatting away. I don't like really do anything around the home at all. As far as radio is concerned, my radio side of things is when I go out. It's the only thing I enjoy. I'm not someone who likes to sit in the car, shoot and skip. I don't like SSB. I don't like the mode very much. Done a fair bit with it, but I spoke to people on 11 meters in Australia, etc. Didn't really feel the need to do it again. So really AM, FM, I just use it as a supplementary hobby to my outdoor type enthusiasm. So there we are. So yeah, hopefully get back out with Meshtastic. 446 as well. Hopefully I can get up on the mountains with some 446. Don't know if that 8 till 8 and that sort of stuff's still running. I don't know. I might invest in a new 27 megahertz AM FM CB. This Intech I got up here is so thirsty on batteries, it's actually useless. I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is down there. My Macom AH27 is getting a little bit long in the tooth. Still works, but there's a few functions sort of going a bit flaky on it. So I'm thinking about getting one of those Thunderpole, I think it's Thunderpole TX, something like that. That seems with the noise reduction system, that seems pretty sweet. So I might see if I can get one of those and get back out on the CB a bit, albeit with probably just the probably an improved integral antenna on top of the radio. So there we are. That's plans for sort of radio side of things. So there we are. On top of that, I've been mucking about with computers and things quite a lot. Probably more of a hobby than anything, certainly in the home. Oh, before I forget with the radio, I did get a comment on one of my old videos. It was over a decade ago, when there was a hell of a good Soprano key session here, coming into here. And I don't know if it was the same, I don't know if you can see it, but I don't think it's in the shot. I don't think it's the same Harvard home base or not, but it did sort of think, yeah, when the Soprano key season kicks off, I'll see if I can shoot some sporadic on the FM. I love the UK to UK FM, so I'm not all that. I don't chase DX anymore. I've done all that, so I like the FM because you can sort of talk to people you know from forums and things like that. It reminded me it was really good, so I'll do that. I'll put the camera on that when sporadic kicks off. Anyway, computer stuff. Now I'm encouraging people now to start looking at alternatives to Windows operating systems. This computer here, for example, is what they call a thin client. Nice little job. Now, very limited resources on these machines. Small capacity as far as storage is concerned. I think it's some sort of flash storage disk. Might only be 8 gigabytes, might be 16. Some of them, like this little tiny 32-bit job, that's only a 4 gigabyte. This is a 64-bit processor. I think it's 4 gigabytes of RAM, and I think it's 8 gigabytes, maybe a 16 gigabyte flash storage on it. Of course, you expand it a bit. I've got another 4 gigabytes coming for that this week. But what I'm encouraging people to do is perhaps give Linux a try, or even something like BSD if you're into that sort of thing, because I think it's 2025. Support for Windows 10 is ending unless you pay for additional support. And I've never been a Windows hater. Some people, I hate Windows, hate it. I liked XP, never used much after XP apart from, I didn't use Windows 7 much. I've got Windows Vista on a machine, but don't. That was just for fun machine, really, like a retro thing that I did up. But I quite liked XP. Use that for well past its sell-by date, so to speak. But I've got Windows 10 on a laptop over there. It's all right. I've got Windows 11 on one computer that's running a TV in the bedroom. It's all right. But that Windows 11 machine, I thought I'll keep that because it's nice to keep your hand in with the current version of Windows. But really, I could swap that out for another OS and it would work just as well. The Windows 10 machine, now I will probably delete Windows 10 off of that next year, or I will just use it offline and I'll put something else on there. I'll put some sort of flavor of Linux on it. I've got one Windows 8.1 little tiny laptop over there. Now that one is great because it works really well with my outdated Garmin GPS stuff. Runs the Garmin apps absolutely sweet. And also hands up. I make no apologies for the fact I still use Windows Movie Maker. I don't want any fancy bells and whistles. That 2012 version of Windows Movie Maker works great for me. So I keep persevering with that until I possibly can't persevere anymore. So I keep that machine and I can run that on the Windows 10 HP as well. So I keep those going really for that. But as far as sort of what you call a daily driver, I'm not a gamer, so I'm not interested in games. I don't do anything fancy as far as CAD, or so you can get. I'll try and learn it actually. I don't think this machine's powerful enough. If I got a more powerful machine, perhaps if I repurpose the Windows 11 machine, I'll start looking at some of the open shots or something like that for video editing. But as far as what you would call a daily driver, that is it there. Now, all that is one of these thin clients. It's an HP T620, £20 delivered, including the power supply from eBay. That's all that is in there, with an extra 4 gigabytes of RAM. And what we got on there? It's got latest version of Firefox, latest version of Chrome, latest version of Thunderbird email client. There's a free Office program, LibreOffice you can run on it, all that type of thing. It's got networking, Samba Windows networking. I can network with Windows machines. And all that is a thing called Puppy Linux. It's absolutely great. It mainly runs in RAM. It's slightly more complicated than that, depending on how you install it. But it's running an absolute peach. Now, I've been doing what they call distro hopping, trying out all sorts of different distributions on these really entry-level sort of cheap machines. This Puppy Linux runs a peach. Now, this particular one is what you call FossaPup 64-bit, FossaPup 64. I think they've just sort of promoted another flavor of it up onto the sort of community, up to the sort of headline distribution on the Puppy Linux site, and that's called Bookworm 64 and Bookworm 32. They still support 32-bit. So certainly Bookworm 64, I tried that out on this machine behind me last night. Pretty good. I think there's a couple of things they just need to just peek and tweak. And when I installed Chrome, it wouldn't launch, and then when I did manage to get it to launch, it wouldn't save anything. So there's a couple of tweaks they need to make to bring that up 100%. But I did notice that in the the Bookworm version does work. It does use the APT, the Synaptics and the Synaptics Package Manager. So I have seen a section on amateur radio, and they've got Chirp in there, which is the radio programming software. So when my extra RAM turns up, I'm going to chuck Bookworm onto a USB stick, and you can run it off a USB stick, and I will see if I can get Chirp working on that with Puppy Linux on a really cheap machine, and I'll let you know if I get any success with that. So anyway, I strongly encourage you, because I say I've never been a Windows hater, but I've noticed the amount of telemetry that's going to run programs to debloat, and I run something else to stop telemetry. I've got PyOld DNSs running, which block a lot of the telemetry stuff going out and chuck back at you, all that type of stuff. But you shouldn't have to, really. And I find that you can install it pretty quickly. You spend about a day debloating it and turning things off and watching on applications what's going in and out. And I'm a little bit paranoid in that respect. But yeah, and obviously on older kit, you cannot upgrade to Windows 11 unless you've got this security chip in there. There's some workarounds, but what's the chances that you'll stop getting updates and things if you've done a little bit of a crafty install of Windows 11 onto an unsupported machine? Who knows? And why bother? So that is running everything I want it to run. It's sweet as. So yeah, and this one, I did this one last night. Now all this one is, this is a Dell Optiplex 380 desktop. Oh. And all that is a USB stick running with Puppy Linux on it, and it's set. The machine is set to boot off of USB. So as long as it's booting off of USB, and if you've got a UEFI machine, turn off secure boot, and it boots straight in, and it's a fully operable OS, VLC video player. Again, latest version of Firefox, Chrome, and I'm able to watch videos, no problem at all. Now, the underlying operating system, what's actually installed, is actually XP. So you can do a dual boot and do that type of thing. But for example, I can just shut that one down. Okay, so that'll just shut down now. And I can just pull out the USB, reboot the machine, and it'll boot into XP. So what's not to like about it? Free operating system, 20 quid thin client, okay, or you can use a Raspberry Pi 4 or preferably a Raspberry Pi 5 as a desktop these days, and you don't have to have really expensive kit. I could have a cheap monitor. They got them down a charity shop for a tenner, and a keyboard, mouse, and you've got a decent desktop system for no money. So let's pull that out. So the entire operating system and what they call a save file is on that USB stick. If you've got USB 3 ports as well, and a reasonable sized USB 3 USB stick, then it runs sweet. Runs really sweet. So there we go. That's now booted into XP. So it's as easy as that, guys. Easy as that. So give it a try. Give it a try. So I've been distro hopping. Now you do get a lot of talk that you have to use. You're always on the terminal console. You're always on there all the time. The command line interface with Linux. So I've been distro hopping. Even this, some of the distributions, especially the sort of main ones, you've got Linux Mint, the Ubuntu, MX Linux, all that type of stuff. There's loads of them, and they got really easy installers, and more often than not, it just works. It just works, and I've not had to go anywhere near the command line interface. The updates are coming through. If you want to become proficient with that, you can speed things up, like updates and installed software, but you don't have to. You just, in fact, I've probably gone to command line CMD on Windows more often than I have gone to the CLI on these Linux machines. So there we are. I think maybe some of the sort of Linux people are a little bit possessive. Oh no, it's really complicated and a little bit guarded. I know you've got to go all the time on the command line. You don't. Some of these distributions are really polished and really nice. I got into them probably back in the 1990s briefly with Red Hat Linux, and it was CAC. The graphical interface, the desktop environment was CAC. But this is quite a basic one. It's very Windows 9X in its sort of start button thing. I like that. But you can configure them, you can change them. I could change all those icons. I could do a minimal setup and all this type of thing. You can configure it and it's easy. So there's no real reason now not to at least give these things a try. I think some of the specialist software you're going to struggle with, but if you don't need that, you just need something word processing. I've got this printing to 2 network printers and all the rest of it. Sweet as a nut. Sweet as a nut. So yeah, give them a try. There's no need to. So that's all booted into XP now. So yeah, really good. So the whole, you've basically got a PC there with Puppy Linux on the USB thumb drive. Sweet as. So thoroughly recommend that. So there we go. There we go. So I've been gas bagging on for ages now. So hopefully I can get this video up and it will save me from demonetization and save the channel from being taken down with me walking off from YouTube in a strop. So yeah, I'll go and see if my other video is rendered now. I'll try and upload that. So by the time this hits the YouTube on UKCB TV, that should be up on 104's Unplugged. So there we are. I'm off social media really, pretty much. Apart from you can hit me up, man, on Twitter, X as it's known, Gary104DX on there. So that is my sort of social media outlet that persists to this day. Anyway, so right, I'm off to drink, by the way. So I'm off now. It's midnight. I'm off now to do a lovely, delicious Horlicks for my nightcap, and I will wish you all the best. Till next time. Catch you soon. Cheers, everyone. Oh.